If I was asked this question once over the last 8 months, I was asked it 1,000 times. How is Coach Mack? Thankfully, I can just have him answer. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing well, Murph. I'm doing well. Everything the people put together to plan to take care of me from August 1st to where we are right now, from Wentworth Douglas to Mass General, they did their job, man. They did unbelievable. And I feel good. I'm back doing a lot of the things that I could do before I had this problem.
Well, that's great news. But the deal was you're supposed to come back to work and others were supposed to be there. I see you're back in the office, but is anybody else around? It's unfortunate that we've been forced to quarantine since your return.
Nah, and that's a very unique thing. You know, March 1st, you get the okay to get going, and I've been around a little bit, and then you get a chance, and you're with the guys. With the guys, when I say the guys, I'm talking about everybody in this field house. You're doing the things that you love to do with each other, and all of a sudden, on that Thursday night before vacation, we're told that some things are going to change. Thought it was going to be a 2-week stint, and now we're looking at our 6 weeks. So a little bit different from the normal, but we're getting along pretty well, I think.
People want to know, how is Jenny tolerating having you around so often without practices to attend?
Well, we have to separate. We have to quarantine each other. She's been with me since this August thing in the house, and it's been a challenge for her, to say the least, Murph. And she's working from home, and it's really tough. She's not a computer person, doesn't like that. She's a people's person, and it's tough in the jet line of work she does with Costa, and they do an unbelievable job. So having to put up with me, that's why I'm up at the office, so that she can have a Zoom meeting and I don't have to talk over her. She doesn't have to talk over me, Murph.
People are looking for advice this time, Coach. What are you doing for entertainment when you're not working? Is there certain shows you're watching? Do you watch old games? What are you doing?
Well, I started with Entourage, one of my favorites, Murph, and you've been on the bus with us, and have gone through Billions and gone through a lot of different things. And, the MJ series was pretty good to start with last Sunday night. And it's crazy. Jenny walks in and we'll see me watching a baseball game. Like last night I was watching the Mariners-Yankee game when A-Rod was a rookie, and just looks and starts shaking her head that you already know the result of the game. But, everybody's doing a lot of walking. Now you can start riding a bike a little bit, some exercising, and then, we're working with the kids. And that's probably the highlight of your day and the highlight of your week, when you get to have your Zoom meeting with your players and Zoom meeting with your coaches.
Yeah, can you shed light on what it is you're doing with these guys? What are the alternatives to having spring practice and keeping tabs on your team in person?
Well, the first thing is that the NCAA allows you, and it's changed from week to week, either 4 to 8 hours, depending upon what the cycle you're in. And right now we're in an 8-hour cycle. So you can meet with them on the computer. And what we did is we simulated spring practice from the first day to where we are right now. So as coaches and coordinators, we set up what we were going to practice that day, what we're going to put in that day. And so we meet and we talk to the kids, go over everything on the board. The technology's great. They can see the game films. They can see their what we call cut-ups of all our games from last year. So when we're talking about a play or talking about a coverage or talking about a blitz, we can pop it up on the screen and they can look at it. At the same time, when I'm talking to, say, the defensive ends, I can show Connie Gibson and Brian Carter, where their steps are right and all that, Our coaches have been tremendous in being very, very good in being creative in how you do things. The other day I sat in a meeting with the safeties, and our coach with them, Johnny Bose, had them pick a player, and I'll give you an example. Christian P. picked the Williams, one of the defensive backs, and he looked at what he was doing on tape in the games and showed it to his players how it related to them. Evan Horn took a guy from the Vikings and went through about 5 or 6 different coverages that we use, and then how we tackle and stuff. And it was really impressive to see them coaching the coaches and coaching other kids using NFL players. So there's an NFL Game Pass that our kids are able to get to that's got every game in the NFL. It's got meetings and one-on-ones with Brian Bollinger. It's a pretty cool thing. So you're Murph, you're not practicing. You're not doing the physical skills with it. Alex Miller has got his guys, watching other offensive linemen in our league that were all conference against certain people in the leagues, critiquing their pass pro ability, their run blocking ability, their scheme. So each coach is doing something a little bit different, and it's pretty cool, the creativity some of them are coming up with.
And, what is the message to alums at this point? Because we don't know when the team will be back. We don't know when games will be played. We're still optimistic the team opens up camp in August and plays in September. But isn't it true that now more than ever, the support system of UNH athletics really needs to come together?
We're sending out a couple of messages this week. Unfortunately, two of our best events that we have in gathering people together, Murph, the Johnny Nocera reunion in March that, we have over 150, 200 guys come back to that. And it's great to get together with them in the evening, from 6 to 10 o'clock at night. And we had to cancel that, postpone that. And then, the Andy Meridian golf outing, which again, you're bringing another, 200 people to the Seacoast for a Friday golf event before our spring game. And then a lot of them stay overnight and come back to the game on Saturday. You're missing that connection with them. We got the 603 challenge coming up, and there's going to be a little information about that. That's the way that we stayed connected to our alums and the way they've been able to give back to the program and help us do things in the summer, help us do things with coaches being able to travel and get professional development. It's something that we've got to work hard at now, and we're going to bear down knowing that that's coming in the next couple of weeks, what we've got to do. But, the virtual meetings and the virtual Zoom meetings we haven't done with our alums, we've been tossing around ideas of doing, virtual group meetings in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, to 2000, and 10-year decades, and reminisce about the old days and when they think they were pretty good, a lot better than they thought they were, just connecting with them. But we need them to stay connected to our program. They're the foundation to keep this place going.
On topics of decades ago, Facebook has a funny way of reminding you of certain dates, and this was completely coincidental, but as Coach Mack and I talked today, it is April 22nd. 21 years ago on this day, Coach, you became the head coach of the Wildcat program. Does it seem that long ago? Do you have snapshot memories of the day you were named the successor to the legend Bill Bose?
Yeah, I got about 3 or 4 memories. I remember watching Coach cry, and it was something pretty emotional watching that guy. The feelings that he had for this program, for the kids, for the coaches, and for the university. And we were over in the skybox, and he passed the torch to me with Judy Ray, and that was a big day. I remember almost getting hit by a car coming across the street from the Whittemore Center. Wasn't in the right lane, Murph, and almost got run over. And then I just remember seeing a couple of the kids up on the balcony when I was looking over the field, coming up and congratulating me and saying can't wait to get it going. It was a great day, Murph, and it was the changing of the guard, but you never felt that you were changing much because of the legacy the coach had left.
And perhaps that nearly being hit by a car is symbolic of what it's like to be a first-time head coach. You had to dodge some things, learn, and I imagine you're a better head coach today than you were back in 1999. Yeah,
a lot of things when you're sitting in the suggestion seat, Murph, in the meeting rooms, and you're next to when you're writing stuff down, like why don't we do this? Why don't we recruit him? What do we think it is? He's there, until you get into the decision seat, and that's the big step that you learn that you had, and again, I had great people around me, Chip, Sean Devine, Mark Matlack, Ryan Jones, those guys. Then we got Mike Dawson here, Steve Stetson, Sean McGowan, Joe Conley, just guys that came in that made this journey a lot easier with me and made my ability to make decisions a lot easier because they were great people and great coaches that had a good feel for this university and feel for the level of football we were playing.
A couple other odds and ends I want to get to. The NFL draft will give people something to watch over the next few days. But all the people you feel for this time, you have to really feel for our guys who were hoping to get noticed. The pro day was canceled before, guys like Prince and Perk and Pop and Evan. So have you talked to them? What have they been able to do or trying to do to be noticed by professional teams?
Prince, Pop, and when you talk to him and Isaiah, all are still working out hard. And, they took, some of them did a virtual, pro day, where they ran the 40, they did their T drill, they did all the stuff. this is the challenge for those guys right now. Their agents got to be doing a lot of work for them. I saw Pop the other day and talked to him a lot about it. Prince, we've gotten a bunch of calls on him about, OTAs, about rookie camp, but doesn't look like none of those things are going to happen, Murph. And Isaiah had a great virtual pro day. Evan has made a decision that he's going to go to grad school. He realized that it was going to be a real long shot and all the hard work without having a pro day. And, he just called me last week and we sent out some recommendations to a couple of schools for him. It's a really tough because all four of those guys have skills and are talented and worked extremely hard from January to March and didn't get to show that to anybody. And you read all the stuff about the draft and you read all the stuff about what's going to happen with free agency and what's going to happen with, these opportunities for kids that are coming from programs in 1AA or programs in FCS. It's going to be the hardest year for some of the guys to catch. Hopefully somebody saw some things that they liked on tape or saw some things they saw in some workouts that those guys can get an opportunity just to show what they can do.
People want football back. There's no question about that. But, Coach, I think Patriots fans need you to put their mind at ease. They're having a hard time coming to grips with Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski going to Tampa Bay. Are the Buccaneers the team to watch now? Are they going to take anybody else? What's going on there?
I don't know, Murph. And again, I got to make one thing real clear. I'm a New York Football Giant fan, and I'm watching, but I love the Patriots. I've loved everything they've stood for the last 20 years. I love what Tom Brady did there. The way that he handled himself, the way he committed himself, the way he worked at it, the way he controlled his team. And then you got to give Belichick and his staff the benefit of the doubt. He had to know something was coming, and figure it out. And, obviously you got a guy like Gronk who retired and now he ends up getting a 4th round pick for him. So, it'll be very interesting to see what happens with the quarterback position down there, how it all plays out. But I think that guy, and I know that organization will find a way to get it done. That's what they've done for numerous years with him running the show.
And I can't let you go without a couple of odds and ends around the Fieldhouse family. We haven't had the ability to do the goodbye parties that we normally would, but let's start with women's basketball. Good news on the side. Maureen McGarry, 10 years. Congratulations on her way to Holy Cross. But really good news, Kelsey Hogan, the typical gritty blue-collar player from Nashua, become a great coach and is now the interim head coach of our women's basketball team.
Well, first of all, seeing Maureen leave, seeing Mo leave the Fieldhouse, she came in and did a tremendous job and turned the program around, took it to levels it's never been before, Murph. And not only was she a good coach, she was even a better person. So we're going to miss her. And then having the opportunity, and one of the things I love to do is watch around and watch people coach in this Fieldhouse, Murph. And when I see Kelsey Hogan on the court with her players and I see her running drills and I see her talking to her players, it just embellishes what UNH is all about. And this is a young lady who is old beyond her years. She was here for 6 years as a player. She came back as an assistant coach, and Maureen was smart to keep her here in a lot of ways when she had opportunities to move on at times. And she became an associate head coach, and she has helped run a show up there with the kids with the passion and the knowledge. And I've talked to Coach Herring about it a couple times, and we both could. She could coach a man. She could coach a men's sport. She has the ability. She has a presence about her that I think is really impressive. So I'm excited for her. I'm happy for her. I did the same thing. I followed somebody who did a hell of a job here and got an opportunity from some people, Judy Ray and Joanne Leitzel, to be here. I hope our school looks right at her because I think she's something special.
And up until now, I think the basis of your hockey knowledge came from Dickie Millie breakfast at the dairy bar. But now you can tell people, not only the Hockey East commissioner, who you worked with for over 2 decades, but the associate commissioner who worked here for 17 years, Steve Metcalf, Kate McAfee, both moving from UNH just over a week ago. Yeah,
we're losing good UNH people, Murph, and that's tough. And they're moving on. They're moving on for one reason, is that they're really good at what they do. You watch Steve, and believe me, Steve worked with our program in a lot of different ways, a lot to do with NCAA travel and NCAA stuff. And, we struggled early, and then every time we came to a trip and he was able to just walk down, here's what's going on, Mac, here's how we're doing it. He was very good. You watch him handle the Frozen Fours for hockey. You watch him handle the regionals. You really saw a young kid grow in 20 years here and become the guy he is. And I think Hockey East is getting somebody special. And Kate, another one that just would roll up her sleeves and work in every type of thing. You know, you'd see her run around at the WIT, whether it's men's hockey, women's hockey, any events. And she was tremendous when the football game day. So we're losing, 37 years of experience, two really good people to Hockey East. So it's sad to see them go, but it's happy to see that they earned the opportunity to take the next step in their careers.
Couldn't agree with you more, Coach. And I know I'm in my kitchen and you're in your office, but it feels like we're back at the Coacher Show at Cisco. And I do want to take a moment to wish farewell to a couple of gentlemen, Knights of the Round Table, who passed away, who followed the Coacher Show for years and years and years. Chris Bagnell and Jack Hurd, both recently passing away.
Yeah, Murph, there was a group of guys that every Monday night when we had our shows, you would look over and they'd be there. And they were just loyal UNH people. And it wasn't just football, it was every sport. And when you crowned them the Knights of the Round Table, they were beaming about it. And Jim and Paul, in their passing, it's sad. Some of these guys have moved on to, obviously a better place, but we're going to miss them, and we'll miss their love and their caring about UNH athletics and especially UNH football.
Coach, great to be back with you. Looks like the office looks good. I'll eventually get back there. Everybody else will, but stay safe and appreciate you taking time to be on with me today.
Great job, Murph, and it's always good to see you from this far away, Murph. You look better every day. Take care.